Yo, welcome to Papa Smokes Coffee and a Spliff. I'm your host, Matt Papa Smoke Carter. What is an awakened soul? Not an easy question, really, to answer, because the awakening process is not so much this technical thing that you can be walked through step by step. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. There are certain people that try and sell it as such, because when they awakened, they went, "Oh God, what the hell do I do with this? Here's what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to teach everybody how to do it," and they teach everybody how to do it the way they did it, which is very limiting to those people and limiting to themselves because there's a lot more that you can do as an awakened soul other than just show other people how to do it, because you can't show anybody how to do it. I can show you how I live my life. I can give you examples of things that I do. I can break it down for you as to why I do them. But in the end, you still have your own personal choices to make as to whether or not you want to do that in your life. And if you don't want to, fine, don't do it. Nobody's holding a gun to your head. However, if you do find yourself in a place in life where you're going, I look around at everything, and everything in my life that used to feel right just it doesn't feel right anymore. And I can't make sense of it. And there's these things that are bothering me that if I talk to somebody else about it, they're just going to tell me I'm totally crazy because there's just no way that's true. That is basically what every human being that goes through this process goes through. And at the beginning, all of a sudden, your life, the way it had been, the way you had always been happy with it, doesn't feel right anymore. And you start having realizations as you're questioning why it doesn't feel right that goes against everything that you were ever taught. You begin to unlearn everything that you were taught. And during that process, it can feel as though you're going insane because people who are not going through that process or who have not already become awakened, so to speak, whatever the term is they're using this week, I call it the enlightened view, not so much enlightenment or awakened or ascended in body is another one for ascension process. It's an enlightened view that allows you to become enlightened easier on various topics as you experience, because your view allows you to see in an enlightened way where the growth is for yourself in that experience. Karmic law says that growth can happen over any circumstance. Part of being an enlightened soul, an awakened soul, living with an enlightened view, is learning for that growth, looking for that growth in each and every experience that you go through. Understanding that every experience is there to teach you or remind you of a lesson already learned, or teach you a new one. Being an awakened soul, in part, is living that. Being an awakened soul, in part, is learning how to look back at your own history and the things that are currently emotional blocks, how to change the view on those things so that you're no longer emotionally attached and the block is removed by you changing how you view it. There's also a heightened intuitive development that goes on. Your empathy naturally increases as you become more empathetic and more empathic in the way that you respond to the emotional energy of the people that you engage with. You start to be able to feel what's really going on under the surface. You start to catch on that people are not representing themselves totally honestly. And you don't understand where it's coming from. And there's times when you call them on it, oh, no, 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 no. And it leaves you feeling like you're the crazy one, when in reality, you're 100% on the money. A lot of people do have a natural intuition to be able to sense these things out. Some at different levels of sensitivity. Some it grows a lot based on your openness to receiving that type of information, energy, and translating it into something that the conscious mind can comprehend and understand and verbalize. Language is how we describe each and everything, and it's all metaphorical. A rose is a rose because we called it a rose. If you called it a shit sandwich, it'd still smell like the sweet smelling rose that it is. Language is all metaphorical. The problem that comes up for a lot of people is the metaphors that they have been storing things in based on the experiences they have are not the same as yours, are not the same as mine, are not the same as Bob or Lisa or Tommy or Jessica or whoever. I'm just throwing random names out there, nobody I actually know, so don't worry. Uh, but it is, everybody's got a different set of metaphors in which their subconscious mind has been storing conceptual information that is based in an emotional language and an emotional concept tied to the visual cortex, to the visual memories. Why we see things in our mind's eye, why when somebody's explaining a story to you, you start seeing the memories in your own life that show that you understand the underlying message and concept of what it is they're expressing, that you are able to empathize and feel with them what it is they're experiencing or can relate to that feeling if it's something you're no longer attached to. Part of the awakening process is learning how to teach yourself how to do that by diving within. What an awakening guide, ascension coach, shamanic guide, whatever, floats your boat and makes you feel comfortable about what I do, call it whatever. What we do is a lot of hands off, turning you back in. What I do specifically that is an extra assist is the chakra clearing and balancing and emotional balancing work I do. I also leave a massive dose of my energy in your home to give you energetic support for about 3 days as you have increased mental clarity and wisdom flowing through you like crazy because your chakras are all activated and cleared out. The emotions are all cleared out, and you have that opportunity to look at those things that were blocks, changing the way you look at it. You have that opportunity to see where you should be having more faith in your own intuitive senses all over the place. Having faith in yourself, built on the experiences that you're seeing in your own memories, will help you be able to drive and inspire yourself in creating that life that does feel right for you. Because it's who you are. It's not something you're trying to force yourself into or trying to fit into. You're just simply being you. And you find that in simply being you, there's a lot that you have to offer that you never realized you had to offer. I'm going to break this right here, and we'll do a part 2. In between, take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and think about what you would do with it in your life if you had total awareness and you could know what somebody was thinking without even trying. That if you could know what somebody was feeling just by asking the question, what would you do with and about it for yourself? How would you manage it in your life? What kind of integrity would it make you look at yourself to form and what to do with and about it? So take 5 minutes to think about, if you were me, how would you do what I do, and what would you do with it? See you in part 2.